Me personally, I cannot understand. If Chinese is so focused on trade, why they are so passive in the crisis in the Middle East? Why they are not trying to make the trade route via Red Sea and Suez operational again? Why there is a Chinese base in Djibouti?
I can tell you very simply. The Chinese are the ultimate geopolitical realists, which means they know what they can do and they know what they cannot do. And they know they cannot. They understand the complexity of the Middle East very well. And so the best they can do, as you know, is to try and persuade the Houthis, don't shoot Chinese ships. And I think that they can accomplish. But trying to persuade the Houthis to stop shooting, they can't do it. And the Chinese, by the way, don't like to engage in military interventions. As you know, the United States often believes that the best solution is to either impose sanctions or bomb a country. And the Chinese don't believe in that. And the Chinese believe that you've got to try and find a pragmatic solution for all the challenges that you have. So I did have the 28 characters that Bogdan referred to, take a low profile, don't exhibit yourself and so on and so forth, because you wanted China to focus on growth and become strong. And Bogdan asked the question, why has China switched from, taking a low profile and becoming more assertive? Well, as I want to give you one statistic. In 1990, China's GNP, and by the way, just as an aside, let me mention, The Economist said in 1990, China's growth is over. 1990, the magazine. At that time, China's GNP was $360 billion. China's growth, the Economist said, growth story is over. And Deng Xiaoping said, take a low profile. Now, last year, China's GNP is now almost 18 trillion. It's gone up 50 times. Now, it's easy for a mouse to take a low profile. The mouse can hide under the table and no people don't notice it. Now China's an elephant. Elephants cannot hide under the table. There's no table big enough to hide an elephant. So China, obviously, when it becomes 50 times bigger, it's not going to behave like a mouse. And by the way, all the Asian neighbors of China understand that. If you live with a mouse, you behave in a certain way. If you live with an elephant, you behave a different way. Because when the elephant is sleeping and it rolls over, it can kill you. So you have to deal differently. And so it is unrealistic to expect that China will not become more assertive, will not throw its weight around as an elephant. I can tell you one thing. Deng Xiaoping was one of the wisest, shrewdest men that China has ever produced. I guarantee you, in 2024, Deng Xiaoping will say, we are now an elephant. We are not a mouse. So we must therefore get ready for the new reality of this China. And at the end of the day, remember, you and I can wish for a different world. But I can tell you that when you come from smaller countries, we cannot live according to our wishes. We have to live according to the realities. And that's what we have to deal with. The Chinese always take the long view. They're not interested in what happens next month or next year. At the earliest, they're thinking, what will the world be like 10 years from now? Or what will the world be like 100 years from now? And so, that's why when I give you a contemporary example, everyone says, China has peaked, the China growth story is over, China is having lots of problems. Yes, it's having a lot of problems. But I'll take a bet with any of you that 10 years from now, China's economy will be much bigger. It hasn't stopped growing, right? Even though the Anglo-Saxon media thinks it has continued to grow. So I can tell you that from the Chinese point of view, if you want to understand the Chinese mind, the most important thing to remember is that the Chinese mind is conditioned by 4,000 years of Chinese history. Now, in 4,000 years of Chinese history, what is genetically embedded in their civilization is the realization that Chinese people do best when there's law and order and stability. Chinese people suffer when there's chaos, what they call luan. And so the Chinese hate chaos. So, if this is why the conclusion of my book is China Won. If the United States can come with a sort of a geopolitical global framework that says, hey, okay, let's agree on a common set of rules. You can do well, we can do well, but let's agree on these rules. And if you offer any package deal to the Chinese that emphasizes stability, predictability, and order, they'll take it. They're not interested in having proxies like Russia or Iran or so on and so forth. And it's important to remember that at the end of the day, the Chinese will work with everybody. And that's why, as you know, China engineered the deal between Saudi Arabia and Iran. I mean, if Iran is their proxy, why are they linking Iran with Saudi Arabia? No, what they want is calm, stability, because China is also, as you know, now the world's largest trading power. And, when the Houthis close the Red Sea channels, who suffers? Chinese suffer. There are more exports going through the Red Sea channel than United States does, right? So clearly the Chinese, if you give them a package deal that emphasizes predictability and stability, they will work with it. They will accept it. But you see, the reason why this is not possible yet, and this is why I say this very sadly, the United States is so focused on keeping China down that it doesn't focus on how to cooperate with China. And I think that, and by the way, I can tell you privately that Henry Kissinger agrees with me that what the United States needs is a long-term comprehensive strategy on what you want to achieve with China. Because today what is unclear is that the United States is obviously taking all kinds of actions against China, tariffs on Chinese trade, suspension of chip exports, suspension of chip technology. But what's your end goal? What do you want to achieve? Are you going to try and get the Chinese Communist Party to collapse like the Soviet Communist Party? Maybe it can be done, but it cannot be done. I can assure you it cannot be done. So in fact, and paradoxically, the more pressure the United States puts on China and the Chinese Communist Party, the stronger China becomes. That's the paradox.